welcome to episode 4 of my Journey to Sub-3 series. So in this series, I'm taking you along with my training as I try to run a sub-3 hour marathon at CIM this fall. So last time we left off, I was feeling a little bit discouraged about my training and where I was at because of my B12 deficiency. And since then, things have definitely turned around and training has gone really well the last couple of weeks. I was going to race a 10K, and leading into the race, my expectations were very low because of how training had been going. I hadn't really done any speed workouts that told me I could PR. I was a little bit nervous about even attempting to run close to my PR, and I really was a little bit disappointed in where my mileage was. So the week of the 10K, I did my speed workout on Tuesday, and I convinced my coach to let me do a longer run on Thursday, which would mean the race was on Saturday. So going into the race, I was going to be fatigued from the long run. But at that point, my mileage had been in the high 40s for several weeks, and I really feel more comfortable at higher mileage. That gives me confidence. So I did a 16-mile long run. I knew this would affect my race results 2 days later, but I wasn't really concerned about that. Racing during training is a really great check-in point and a way for me to tell if my fitness is improving. But at this point, I really didn't know what was going on with my fitness, and I didn't know what to expect. So I wasn't that worried about it. The race plan was to run the first 3 miles at around a 6:20 pace, and then to race the last 5K. So I had looked at the race elevation chart and all of that stuff, and I definitely didn't realize how hilly it was going to be. And that's fine because CIM is rolling hills, so I want to get better at running faster on hills. But it definitely made it really hard. So the first couple miles, I tried to focus on, effort on the downhills and maintaining a good, strong effort on the uphills. I ended up averaging a 6:20 for the first couple miles, but racing the second half was very, very challenging because there is a significant hill at mile, I think it was just before mile 5. So I was able to drop my pace for mile 4 and mile 6. And my mile 5 was around a 6:40 because of that hill. And I just kind of lost steam running up it, so it was really hard to recover from. Luckily, there was some really nice downhill after that, so I was able to come back down for the last mile. But the other thing that was also helping to motivate me was during the race, I kept passing women who had started ahead of me, but I knew the race was pretty competitive, and as I started getting into the last mile, people were telling me I was 3rd place female. So that helped kind of push me a little bit the last mile to continue to make sure no other women caught up to me. So that was pretty exciting. I definitely feel like the last mile I could have pushed a little bit harder. And so I came in at 39:33 according to my Garmin. And I started doing my cool down miles after the race. And when I came back, my husband told me, they said that you were in first. And I said, that's not possible. There were 2 women ahead of me. It was very clear that I was not in first place. And then I looked at the time that they had posted and it said I ran a 38:33, which is, my PR is a 39:05. So not even close to that on that day, and definitely not a time that I've run. And so I tried to talk to the people who were in charge of announcing who the winners were, and I said, that's not what my Garmin says, and I understand this is ship timing, but that doesn't make any sense to me. I was not going to accept a first place finish, and I also really did not want that time to be online. I actually got a text from one of my athletes after the race congratulating me on my time, and I did not want a time that I had not run associated with me.
42nd running of the Manhattan Beach 10K.
We have to rely on the technology. We understand what you're saying. There's human error involved. So, right, and yours is a human error in our minds, right, because it's chips. You can accept the award because we feel you're the winner, or we can disqualify you.
And I was like, how is that the only solution to this? So I just left, and I had emailed the timing company to let them know that the time was completely wrong. I emailed them my Garmin data. The next day, I got a call from their race director. He apologized for the guy telling me that I would be disqualified, which was really nice. And he fixed my time to match my Garmin time. I'm just glad they updated my time to something that was more within reason and range of what I actually ran. So that was a little drama with the race. In the days following the race, I was a little bit disappointed in myself because I felt great. Like, I felt like I hadn't raced at all. And usually after, you know, a good tempo effort like that, especially on hills, I feel really fatigued. And since doing my inside tracker work, working with Paula on that stuff and getting my B12 stuff up, I've really focused on recovery, getting in good amounts of protein immediately after my workouts and stuff. So I actually took some BCAAs with me to the race so that I could drink that while we were driving home. And, you know, I was like, okay, maybe that helped. But the other thing is maybe I wasn't trying hard enough and I ran a little bit scared. Since the race too, I have just slowly been gaining confidence. My workouts have gone really well. I've increased my mileage. I'm now in the high 50s and have been for the last 2 weeks. I feel like I'm crushing workouts, or at least, you know, not being scared of them and knowing like I can hit this pace. I'm really focused on being more calm as I get into tempo portions of speed workouts or anything like that. And I realized when I was in my build up to grandma's, there were a couple key workouts that I really failed at. One of them was a 3x3 mile at marathon effort in a 20-mile long run. And I attempted the workout once, failed awfully. I walked away from it at 12 miles. I just couldn't do it. Attempted it again, and it was pretty awful. And marathon pace did not feel attainable. Felt really tense. And one of the things that I have really worked on is being more calm when I get into those uncomfortable phases of a workout. This goes for racing too. So trying to calm myself down and tell myself that I am capable of these paces. I can run this for X amount of time, whatever the interval or workout is. I am focused on being smooth. And I think shifting that mindset has helped a lot with the last couple weeks. So a few of the things I'm doing differently, we've increased some of the intensity, which has been really cool and stuff I haven't done yet. So one of the things was doing a marathon pace workout the day after a long run. I did 18 miles last week and then at a comfortable pace. And then the next day I did some marathon pace in, I think it was like a 5-mile run and 2 miles at marathon pace, which I felt great for. Normally I would follow up a long run effort with recovery miles. So some of those things are different this cycle. And I feel like each cycle I'm trying to figure out how to push the envelope a little bit more without breaking. So I am still using the Inside Tracker site, still working with Paula on my nutrition to make sure that things are up to par. And next week is actually when I go back to the doctor to test my blood work again to make sure my B12 levels are up. So in about 2 weeks, I'll know how things are looking, which will put me 5 weeks out from CIM. So at that point, there's kind of no turning back. Like I'm running this marathon. But also in 2 weeks, I am racing a half marathon. And at that point, my goal for that half marathon is to go for a 125. I'd be happy with a PR. My PR right now is a 127. So if I get a 126, I think that would be great. And I'll still have 5 more weeks to build. But if I can run a 125, I will feel so much more confident going for the sub-3. Thank you guys for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. And I will be back again in a couple weeks to check in probably after the half marathon. So if you are not subscribed, make sure that you're subscribed so you can catch the next couple videos in the series before I make my sub-3 hour attempt. Thanks for watching.